just went so smoothly, and I was worried because in resale, that's game over. That's game over. You can't fucking have a bad day.
Right.
Or you're the bitch that gets stepped on. And it's
you dug your own grave.
Dug your own grave. Now there's no working together.
Right.
Now we have to be mean just on principle.
Yeah.
And I've always hated that. Like,
yes.
Why do you have to be an asshole?
You can say asshole.
Yeah.
I'll say it.
So yeah, I do have stories of like, why?
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Animal House, the house, the legend. I'm Annalise Everton, aka Animal. I'm a realtor in Virginia, specifically the Hampton Roads area. And here on Animal House, we like to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the exciting parts of real estate, the personal, the professional, and everything in between. I am here today with Brie Flyge.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm amazing. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Just busy.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Brie and I Brie's also one of my real estate besties for almost 10 years.
Yep.
Her, you saw the other episode with Daisy. Her and I, we all worked at the same place starting out at the same time when we got our licenses around the same time. And we've just all kind of stuck together through all the bullshit. And
there's a lot of bullshit.
And the victories.
Yes.
And we've cheered each other on the whole way and cried on each other's shoulders.
Yep. Drank a lot.
Yeah. And then stopped drinking a lot.
Yep.
And
or pull yourself back.
And tighten up.
Yeah, tighten the ship.
Yeah. But anyways, I would love to hear, and I want the people to hear a little bit about yourself.
Oh, let's see. I'm a transplant, but I've been here for almost 20 years. So I'm from the West Coast, Hawaii and California. And when I was 27, I moved out here. So I've been in Virginia Beach and Chesapeake for the last 17 years. I have a background in like fine dining food service in San Diego and California. And then I got my degree in interior design and architecture. And so I did that for a while, did some transition to sales for a while, so I didn't have to sit at a desk all day. And I have 2 kids, a dog, a husband, and various assortment of weird and crazy friends. So got a good life. I got a good life.
Awesome. So yeah, the funny thing when we met was that you had worked with my mom in the interior design world. We forget about that because we became so close like on our own, but that was like our first thing that connected us.
I went on an awesome trip with your mom. It was awesome. It was that it's a hotel in Asheville that starts with a B.
Biltmore?
Not the Biltmore. Oh. It's the
I don't know.
Oh no, Grove Park Inn.
Okay.
And we had cigars and whiskey, and we took a tour of a carpet factory, and it was like the best.
Wow, Mom, so. Why don't you smoke cigars with me? You're getting told on right now.
This was like 15 years ago.
That's not that long ago. I was old enough to smoke cigars then. But so you guys, so you had a thorough experience as an interior designer. Mm-hmm. How would you say that experience helped you when you transitioned into real estate?
Well, professionally, it helped me with managing client expectations, which that's where everything goes downhill, right?
Yes.
Like when the clients are like, yo, this house isn't clean. You didn't say you wanted it clean. The contract says broom swept, or, like that, whatever. Managing client expectations, I think, is where everything falls apart. And if you can't You have to communicate clearly and effectively. You have to lay out the process from start to finish, because you have to remember that they've never built a house before,
Right.
or a retail shop. And these people have never purchased a house before, or it's different than it was 15 years ago. So I find that was probably the best takeaway from one to the next.
Okay. Would you say that you've been able to kind of help people imagine a space better and give them any sort of advice when it comes to design?
I'm not very opinionated, so
right.
Yeah. No, yeah. Yes, I walk into a space and I get like feelings.
Yeah.
I get the feelings and I'm like, ooh, and then just things, it's like the stuff starts bubbling in my head and I see designs and I see colors and then I'm like, and then you could put this here and then, oh, this little space over here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it helps them get excited,
right.
and it helps them visualize their stuff, because not everybody has that ability to just like walk into a space and your brain just starts bursting with ideas.
Right.
That's definitely a unique property.
Yeah. No, it's true. I personally have had people become very deflated with the process because they have a mental block when it comes to that.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like, oh, the wall's green. And you're like, Sherwin Williams is
paint
right
the
over
bitch.
there. Paint the bitch. And you kind of feel like you're saying that and you're like, am I being condescending? That seems so simple, but it is a part of sales, really, to remove those obstacles and just make it sound so simple.
Yeah.
It is so simple.
Right. To some people.
Well, we won't talk about my husband taking 3 hours to tape a room.
Oh, like for the blue tape?
To paint. He's not allowed to help paint anymore.
Okay.
So it's simple.
Sorry, Mark.
Sorry, Marky Poo.
So now you were in retail sales like me, and at this point, you have made another move within the real estate space to working for a builder.
I have. It's my first time working for a builder. I always thought it would be interesting and see how it was and use my skills working from the ground up. It's definitely not less work, but it's less, it's probably not even less hustle either, to be honest, but it is more organized and more, the builders they have a very direct brain, whereas my brain's flighty. And so they've got some really great systems in place, and it's a lot of hustle too. You have to be there on the weekends, but it's not driving around for hours showing 16 houses in one day.
Yeah.
I don't miss that.
Okay.
And then they go to someone else, their cousin.
Yeah.
Who just got her license 2 days ago, because all you need is a license to sell. You don't need any expertise. You don't need any experience. You need none of that. You just need to have a piece of paper. So anyway, yeah, it's been nice not having to drive around, chase people down. People are so nice on the phone.
Well, yeah, because they want something from you.
They're so nice. They're like, actually, and well, because I'm working in a 55 and better community. And so they're all polite older people, and they'll thank me for calling them. I am not used to being thanked for calling. Usually it's like, don't call me. I didn't enter my information in there.
Yeah. Lies.
Yes, somebody did.
Right.
Check on your ex.
Yeah.
But
or your toddler.
Or your toddler. So it's just a different vibe. It's a whole different vibe.
So the vibe from before that you don't miss. Is there anything that comes up in your mind, like specific stories that we can dive into? Anything fun? I mean, I know that you and I have shared so many things that have happened with us.
Dealing with egos is never fun. There's no egos in new home sales.
They're at the mercy of the builder.
They're at the mercy of the builder. And sometimes you do work with an agent. Actually, I just worked with an agent last week, and she was so nice and gracious. And I had to fly out to Hawaii to visit my dad. He was sick. And so I was not on my A game.
Right.
And she could have been a total wench to me. And it just went so smoothly. And I was worried because in resale, that's game over. That's game over. You can't fucking have a bad day.
Right.
Or you're the bitch that gets stepped on. And it's
you dug your own grave.
Dug your own grave. Now there's no working together.
Right.
Now we have to be mean just on principle.
Yeah.
And I've always hated that. Like,
yes.
Why do you have to be an asshole?
You can say asshole.
Yeah.
I'll say it.
So yeah, I do have stories of like, why did you put on the PICRA that a lock needed to be replaced when really there was just a rock blocking the fence from it being opened? Could you not have picked up the rock? No, you need to replace the entire lock. Well, the lock works, but it's just this whole grandstanding and bullying. And that's that on top of the hustle. The hustle I could handle.
Right.
I was just getting sick of attitudes and
well, because people like are standing up for their clients, but they don't. I've noticed that people. It's really hard to be able to. A lot of people, for them to stand up for their client and still have grace towards the party that they are directing this to. It's an art.
It's a fine line between being it's not a fine line between being a doormat and a bully. There's a big difference, but some people don't know how to walk that line, like you said, grace.
Mm-hmm. I saw something today, I think it was, that said reputation outlasts the transaction. And people do not think about that. It's crazy. That's like the first thing in my head. Like, I may have to work with this person again.
Do you want to show your contacts and see who's listed as asshole so-and-so and bitch
or just
and such?
I literally... Well, I'll just delete people at that point.
Yeah.
And then if I don't have your number and you come back to me and I can see the last text messages that we had.
That's the worst.
I'm like, oh, okay. I remember you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We remember. Listing agents have long memories.
And I've dealt with builder agents several times. I can remember one time there were two site agents, and my clients wanted the specific builder, specific model. They didn't want anything else. This was their dream home. I loved that about them because they knew what they wanted.
Right.
But it also meant we were stuck working with specific site agents who had been working for this builder for God knows how long. And they had, again, like this grandstanding, like holier than thou mentality.
That gets some sales.
They don't care because the sales were just coming in. And this was also during the crazy time where rates were insanely low. So they were just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care what you think. This is what it is. Balls in builder's court.
Yeah.
And you're gonna, we would come in. They had two kids. And they'd be like, one of the ladies specifically was awful to work with. She was like, oh no, kids can't be in here. In the model to tour.
Okay.
So I had to sit outside with the kids and that made me nervous because already she has this
antagonistic.
She has this energy about her that's like, I'm like, well, what is she saying to them? Like, and they're my clients, and I'm worried that they're gonna like be influenced by something that she says that is negative,
or you don't know what she's saying and they don't even understand,
right?
So that you can't go, let's talk about this,
right? Like, you have options here just because she says you don't, so they were good enough to say, listen, I really hated that she made our kids sit out on the porch, and then she kind of bullied us through some of the conversation. So we really want you to email the builder and tell them we prefer the other agent. So we did that.
Yeah.
And she was much better. However, there still was this energy about them that, like, they've just been doing this for so long.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
Well, my predecessors at this new place didn't have a great
reputation.
And I'm getting a lot of reviews from people who just moved in while I started and review. Our builder's very big on reviews before, during, and after the whole process. And so the reviews were pouring in. I just woke up to one this morning that was she was crying at the closing table.
Aww.
She was so mad. She didn't like the agents. She felt like they didn't explain anything to her, hold her hand. And I mean, I don't know them personally,
right,
or what happened, but that's like, negative review after negative review coming in while I'm in there and I'm getting to read it. And I'm like, every review has a story behind it, though. I understand that, but yeah. And I have come across that too in my own, I can't say her name, but it rhymes with a word that you would call someone who's like, an airhead.
okay,
So we would just call her that name.
okay. And this is in the builder space?
This is in the builder space somewhere in Virginia, North Carolina.
Okay.
And she was atrocious. Like she would be like, I told you guys this stuff. And we're like, you did not tell us. I keep every piece of paper. I have notes on everything.
Right.
But at least she didn't tell us not to bring the kid in.
That was insane. I mean,
that's crazy.
Mind you, it was COVID. And so like there was no rules. Everything was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But it was still horrific, in my opinion, for her to.
Yeah, and I was at a new construction site, and they had a 2-year-old toddler, and they were going to show us it was currently in construction, and having been on, I mean, I think it's common sense, but having been on many construction sites, I was like, not safe for toddler. They didn't say anything, and I said, hey, why don't I hang out with baby girl in my car in the air conditioning, because it was also summer.
Right.
And we hung out and we played in my car, and my clients were so like grateful.
Right.
Like little things that you can do. But the site agent didn't even think of that. They're just like, let's bring a toddler onto a construction site.
Yeah. That's complete opposite of what happened to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, okay, let's not.
And I would have that would have made sense to me if we were walking like construction or something.
Yeah.
But it was literally like the initial model tour.
Yeah. That doesn't.
No.
No.
I mean, it was almost like they didn't want them touching things. And it's like, okay, and they weren't that young either. Like one of them was like, I want to say 8, and the other one was like 6.
So you can tell them, don't touch, look with your eyes.
They were completely communicative with me. The whole time we were outside, where I'm like learning about their whole life, So.
I bet you're great with the kids.
Yeah. One of them was my birthday twin. It was really cute. We just got along. He's awesome. But I mean, yeah, like it's never the same situation at all when you deal with different builders. They all have their own, they have their own contracts. Like,
yes, I had to read part of our contract to an agent. I mean, I always recommend having an agent, even with the builder.
Right.
But the agent has to read the damn contract. Otherwise, what are you paying them for?
That's why, that's how some people like have come to me and they're like, I don't think I need you. I'm going to go straight to the builder. And I tell them, well, one of the services I provide is I'm going to read a contract from a builder. It's going to be completely different from the standard contract.
Yep.
And all builder contracts are different because they write them themselves with their own lawyers.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And she's like, where does it say in the contract that da-da-da-da? And I'm like, okay, paragraph this, paragraph that. If they do not close, it will be $100 a day.
Right.
And she's like, oh. Meanwhile, she's telling me she's closed 1 million new homes. And I'm like, earn your percentage, because I certainly don't make as much as you did off of this.
Right. Right.
Not that yeah.
Right.
But yeah, read the contracts, people.
Yeah, it's the least you can do, right?
Least you can do. If you're going to be an agent for a builder, please just read the contract. Be gracious. Things don't happen on normal timelines. Like, this isn't, you have the 10 extra days built in to close type of thing. It could be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I just closed one recently where it was $200 a day.
Ooh.
And my clients were behind, so they had to pay that a week's worth. I think it was actually maybe 8 days. So,
oh my gosh.
So yeah, that was
that hurts the pocket.
I kind of tried to go to bat for them on that, but again, but yeah, it was $200 a day, and I'm pretty sure that they went into 8 days. So I tried to go to bat for them at that, but builder follows in builder's court, of course.
Builder's gonna build.
Builder's gonna build. Okay, I'm making T-shirts that say that. I want to talk about you have this vision that you've kind of been trying to manifest, and I want to know more about that.
Yeah. Well, so I've kind of taken a step back from the resale.
Right.
And because my wants and desires in real estate aren't really aligning with the business model of real estate, which is just to get more and get more and get more. So I found that right now I'm not really compatible with it, because what I want to do is help people in a way that's more tangible. Like I want to do these communities in our area, and I think Chesapeake would be a great first place to start, because Chesapeake still has those 3-acre lots.
Right.
You can put 6, 7, 8 houses on them and do some tiny house community for like veterans.
Oh, wow.
Huge veteran community here. Tiny houses are affordable. You can buy a house on Amazon.
Oh, what?
You can buy a house on Amazon.
Okay.
And just build it from there. I mean, it probably comes with an IKEA instruction.
Right.
But you can literally buy a tiny house on Amazon.
Okay.
But there are...
News to me.
I know. There are... Google it. I mean, Amazon it.
Right.
But there are companies who just specialize in doing tiny houses. And I got the idea from when I was in Maui, which is where I was born and raised. Mm-hmm. My parents still live there. And Lahaina burned. It's my hometown. And I went back a year after it burned down, and I saw all these tiny houses that FEMA had been putting up.
Oh, FEMA had been putting them.
FEMA had put them up for people to live in, because, I mean, it was just absolutely destroyed and devastated. And but they were contracting these builders, tiny house builders. So that got me thinking, like, why can't we have a little communities, not parks of tiny houses like trailer parks, but like communities with enough space around everybody, 6 or 7 houses. Your HOA is the owner of the community. Yeah. They do Roger does the gardening and the lawn mowing and that type of thing. So they have an investment in that, and they would own, I don't know how I guess they would all be like joint tenants on the land or something. I don't know all the details. I have ideas. Right.
But that's amazing. That's especially that's where your idea sprouted from, the devastating fires in Lahaina.
Yeah.
And the progress that they're making over there.
And then my work in our community of Chesapeake has really got me more involved in my local community. That's where you can make the biggest change. And I've been able to see that with my work with Pride in the Peak, how you're changing people's lives and touching their lives and showing them that there are people like them in Chesapeake. And same with this kind of ideas, like you could change someone's life by giving them an affordable home to get into when they're only living on disability paychecks, or but not even that. It's not even only, we should be housing every freaking veteran in our country.
Yeah,
that's
agreed.
Yeah, that's something that but anyway,
keeps you up at night.
It keeps me up at night, and it's not just them. It's I'd like to do single parents down the line, or I guess income restricted, but and do in nice areas where they want to invest in they want to be a part of the community and invest in it and feel safe.
Yeah.
and it's not gonna, jumping into that $350,000 mortgage right away in your first home is impossible.
Yeah.
Impossible. So
yeah, and the fact that you're a co-founder of the Pride and the Peak, I mean, just knowing other people that are involved in organizations like that, those people in that situation that has been ostracized from their family for their choices, their life, the way they lead their life, they have no support.
Yep.
And a lot of them don't even know where to go.
Yeah, I mean, you have a ridiculously high suicide rate and then when your family turns you away, like, you're for the streets now, and that's just it's just incredibly heartbreaking.
Yeah, and they don't have the support from their family to, let alone anything. Forget about a down payment. On
a motel for the night or anything. Like when you're living night by night trying to find a motel
and so these communities could have like all the same types of people, like VEA, single moms, Pride, all that good stuff.
And I'm not sure how that aligns with like fair housing laws and things like that. I haven't really researched that. I know that sounds crazy, but
no, it's just that's like this is your.
It's like a 55 and plus.
It's a seed that has been planted, and you're exploring all of that right now.
Yeah,
and I love that.
And maybe my work now in a 55 better community can help inform me more about how you can start a community that's geared towards certain people, without being discriminatory. Because that's opposite.
It's the opposite.
It's the opposite of what I want. I want to include people who are typically included, low income and other marginalized groups, and that's kind of my like little baby brainchild that I coddle at night and think about and dream about, and maybe someone will dream about it with me and help me get it.
Well, I'm so glad you shared that with me, because I believe it's important too. And I think that you should get the word out there about this idea, because maybe somebody else has also had this idea and they want to collaborate with you.
Well, I talked to Jean.
Yeah.
I talked to Jean about it. She's a veteran herself, and she mentioned something about it. And then I was like, that's my idea. So just one person I talked to.
Yeah.
So there's got to be others.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of that, because I'm excited for people to see this episode or hear this episode, because I want to be able to plug your foundation, your anything you have that's kind of leading to that you're really invested in, all of the stuff that you've been working on to get to this point. If anyone's listening to this,
look out for Pride in the Peak in June. We not only do a Pride event in Chesapeake, we also raise money for scholarships for Chesapeake students.
Wow.
So
okay. Yeah, we'll definitely plug that in the video, because definitely I think a lot of people will be able to, or they'll want to connect with you based on that. So
that'd be great.
Yeah. So thank you so much.
Thank
and
you
I really appreciate
I
appreciate it. Yeah, in the house.
The house. Now we dance.
Yeah. Yes. Well, keep me posted on all of the events that are coming up. And if anyone wants to connect with Brie, just hit me up or reach out to Brie directly. And thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you on another episode. Bye.